Bulavinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Bula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, thousands affected by intermittent water supply. Government to protect Fiji Airways routes. NFBC does not own Walesi, NFP told.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Water cuts and low water pressure are the main issues currently affecting thousands of residents living along the Suva-Nausori corridor. The Water Authority says it will take time for water supply to normalise. Anna Ravulo reports.
An electrical fault at the Wailau water treatment plant in Nausori has resulted in irregular supply affecting families in their day-to-day chores.
Since Saturday last week, we've been having water problem. They cut water 2 times a day, one in the morning and one in the night time.
It was from Saturday last week. We started to collect water. The truck came and yes, they're so helpful.
It took about 4 hours to repair the failure, but during that 4 hours we did not produce water. So that's why all the water levels in the reservoirs went down. But after 4 hours we started again pumping. So now the reservoir levels are going up, but it is not like electricity. It will take time.
Ekaniake says this issue often arises during power outage and they are now working on a long-term plan.
They are doing the designs at the moment. Once they finish their designs, we'll be calling tenders and installing the generators in all the pumping stations. So that will give some relax to the water problems.
Water supply is expected to normalise in the Suva-Nausori corridor by Sunday. Anna Ravulo, FBC News.
The government is doing all it can to protect Fiji Airways routes from bigger airlines when signing air service agreements. Civil Aviation Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum says this is to ensure the national airline is not cannibalised by foreign airlines. Akusita Tale reports.
The government says they have been very protective of Fiji's code-sharing agreement with other airlines and decisions are made after wide consultations.
Look at other countries that have adopted the approach of what they call the completely open skies policy. Invariably what happens is that the larger airlines actually come and cannibalize the local airlines, and ultimately the local airlines actually collapse. And so we have been very protective about Fiji Airways from that perspective.
The minister revealed Fiji Airways is keen to fly to Beijing, China, but the Chinese have laid conditions wanting an onward ride to pick passengers from Shanghai and Hong Kong on their way to Nadi. He adds similar offers have been made by Emirates Airline to fly from Dubai and Sydney to Nadi.
They can do the Dubai-Sydney leg. We're quite happy for them to do that only if they code share. But they could then fly people across for $50 and we can shut down the route between Nadi and Sydney for Fiji Airways. And then of course they can pull out whenever they feel like it. We'll then have to restart it ourselves. So we have to be able to be clever, we have to be strategic in respect of how we allow, of course, code sharing in that respect.
Said Qayyum says they recently signed an air services agreement with Japan, who gave up some of their onward rights. Akosita Tali, FBC News.
2 major reforms in store for the police force includes the review of the Police Act and recruitment of more competent people. Highlighting the restructure of the force, Acting Prime Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum said the organisation is on the cusp of modernisation. Ali Kimbia with the story.
Acting Prime Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum says the Police Act is old and is in need for major amendments.
Laws need to be revamped. Yes, the Police Act is old. We need to look at that, and of course the law should not be changed prior to the restructure, because once the restructure is completed, then we get the level of consultation that is necessary, gets approved by Cabinet, and then, of course, we can amend the law according to the structure that's required.
Opposition members questioned the standards of certain police officers. Said Qayyum says there is a need to attract more competent people to the force.
Required fitness level, the RFL requirement within the force, where a particular officer needs to meet certain other criteria.
Being given enough resources, enough infrastructure, yes, we need to do more, and we will do more, and we need to be able to attract a lot more competent people also to the police force. We need it to be an employer of choice.
The restructure will lead to the modernization of the police force, which will make it an employer of choice. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum raised an issue on the National Federation Party's post on Facebook yesterday. Said Qayyum says after reading the statement on the update on the Walesi program and how it had a separate board, NFP still decided to post that the Walesi digital platform is managed by the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation, of which the chief executive Riaz Said Qayyum is the younger brother of the Attorney General.
This is the kind of facts that they supposedly are going out and telling the public. And the reason, Madam Speaker, why I'm raising this is because this subject matter is raised in this Parliament. If they have the audacity to say these kind of things after things have been made in Parliament, imagine what they're saying out there.
Meanwhile, Walesi TV Chair Sharvada Sharma has also hit out at the statements made by the NFP, saying it is factually flawed. Sharma says the NFP's Facebook post yesterday was misleading. Sharma says Walesi Limited is a government commercial company that is governed and managed by its own board of directors and not by FBC or any other television broadcaster. He says under the direction of its own board of directors, Walesi Limited is responsible for the implementation of analog to digital broadcasting migration and the management of the national digital television infrastructure. The chair made it clear that neither FBC nor any other media organization plays any role in the management and governance of Walesi Limited. The number of dengue fever cases in the Western Division is decreasing after the outbreak was announced last month. Over 500 cases were recorded in the first 2 months of this year, which prompted the Health Ministry to take proactive measures to stop the spread of dengue fever. Catherine Krishna reports.
The mosquito spraying and awareness program conducted by the town councils and the Health Ministry have been effective.
The highest peak of the outbreak to date, there were 93 patients confirmed to have dengue for that week in the Western Division. The next week it fell to 60 confirmed cases, and then in just the last week it fell down to 30.
While numbers in the Western Division have dropped, residents in the Central Division are still at risk. Dr. Alisha Sahukan says 342 dengue cases were confirmed from January to March 8th.
We are definitely seeing an upward trend in cases, and so there is an outbreak ongoing in the Suva subdivision. And so just as we have for Northern Division residents and Western Division residents, we urge the residents of Suva to work together to get rid of mosquito breeding places and also protect yourselves from getting bitten by mosquitoes.
The Northern Division is also not out of danger, as 948 cases have been recorded. The public is being urged to remain vigilant and keep their surroundings clean. Catherine Krishna, FBC News.
Still to come, villagers prepare 5-year development plan. An investigation into sunken southern Phoenix to wrap up soon. Stay with us.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Uti kami na sa mga bola, ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuya sila tali, nagurara may naomani, nandunga. Gitu tali taki yang gitu Venezuela, nagudurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.
The Ministry of Lands has changed its policy on payment of fishing rights compensation related to issuing foreshore leases. Minister Fayez Koya told Parliament they've shifted from a one-off lump sum payment to annual payments over the duration of the lease, which in most instances is 99 years. Maggie Boyle reports.
In his third ministerial statement and second on the Lands and Mineral Ministry, the minister revealed a shift in policy.
The compensation payable is determined on the full term of the lease, but the payment is now based on an annual basis. And the reason is that this government, Madam Speaker, is taking care of the generation now, the generation to come, and the generation thereafter, Madam Speaker. 3 generations.
Opposition MPs in response called for better legislation and the need for updated information.
Because mangroves are a plant, Madam Speaker, which absorb carbon more than any other plants. So this is why the need for a sustained, well thought out strategy to formulate and regulate the cultivation and forestation of mangroves.
And the GIS in the Lands Department should form the base for all other ministries to be connected to the GIS. You can have a good GIS system, but if it is not updated, Madam Speaker, it's no good.
The minister also highlighted that a cabinet paper on the fair share of royalty provision is currently in its final stages. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Another Fijian has spoken to Fiji's Sun, claiming the National Federation Party MP Pramod Chand has made controversial remarks about Muslims. 55-year-old Renandi Matakimbau of Vunivutu in Nandonga, Maduata, told the Sun that she was at a meeting in Vunivutu where Chand spoke and allegedly made some remarks on Muslims taking over Fiji. Matakimbau says she has a good understanding of Hindi and is sure of what she heard Chand say.
One of the major things he said was about the government. He said about Muslims running the government. He said that one day Itoke will no longer own land because Muslims will come and take over our land. He said we should be careful.
Matakimbau claims Chand says one day everything that belongs to the Itoke will belong to them.
He said if we choose his party, he will improve our roads, buses, sugarcane farms, and those that have lost their sugarcane farms will have a sugarcane farm again.
She alleges that the statements made by Chand were frightening.
He said that only Muslims will lead our government, especially if Fiji First wins this upcoming election. We just stared at him when he said this because we don't know how this news came about. Maybe because Attorney General Mr. Ayaz Said Kayum is in the party. When he said this, it instilled fear in us.
The Fiji Sun reports Chand, through his lawyer Richard Naidu, denied making these remarks. 3 villages in the district of Maduata and Sanganga are putting together their 3 to 5 year development plan. Eleanor Tarangaivu reports.
For 3 days, villages of Nambukandongo, Nanyibunda and Korvuli in Sanganga will be planning and plotting their village development course over the next 3 to 5 years. The village development plan is born out of the community capacity building training conducted by the Commissioner Northern's office every year.
This is part of our business plan, a core output of our business plan. That is to conduct community capacity building. One community capacity building we call CCB program in our province 1 year.
In the CCB training, various representatives of government ministries and departments talk about the various programs and initiatives available to villagers. The villagers will then use these in the construction of their development plan.
It's enlightened the villagers on what sort of assistance is available to use in terms of undertaking projects so we can better our lives.
Nambukandongo is blessed to have the government representatives here to tell us what we should do. For us, the women, we have struggled a lot and we need development in our village.
The CCB training is also taking into account the future development of the Sanganga township.
The village doesn't have any plan at all. So we are trying to align this program looking at the proposed plan to have Sianganga to become a town.
The draft village development plans, which will feature the major projects to be undertaken by the villagers in the next 3 to 5 years, should be ready by this evening. Eleanor Turangaibiu, FBC News.
Almost half of Fiji's population has internet access and around 380,000 people have Facebook accounts. Consumer Council Chief Executive Pramila Kumar says internet users should be responsible. Savaira Tambor reports issues were raised during the World Consumer Rights Day, with the topic should cyberspace be regulated to deal with fake news and cyberbullying.
The subject was put for debate among students of Fiji National University who took the negative side, while representatives from USP took on the affirmative side. Consumer Council CEO Kumar said the council decided to focus on cyberbullying and fake news due to the ills they create.
We'd like to put this issue on the agenda so that there can be a bit of a discussion on this subject matter, and the people can give their own views, and it's good to hear from the young people what their views are on these two subject matter, considering they are always online and they use internet.
Chief Justice Anthony Gates says the internet is not bad and the topic brings an awareness of the problem.
It brings so much information, some of which we know must be rechecked. For the consumer, it can provide e-commerce. We can buy tickets online, train journeys overseas for some, airline tickets, hotel bookings, and the purchase of items, either routine or specialist. The market is so wide.
The council will issue a statement based on the debate's conclusions to be forwarded to the minister responsible for consideration. Savaira Tambor, FBC News.
The investigation into the cause of the sinking of the MV Southern Phoenix will be wrapped up in a month's time. Attorney General Ayush Said Qayyum says a process was followed for the investigation and it is nearing completion. The AG also clarified an environmental catastrophe from the sunken vessel was avoided because of the effective response from the Maritime Safety Authority and the Fiji Ports Corporation to minimize any possible oil spills. The MV Southern Phoenix sunk on May 6th last year in the South Harbour of Suva Wharf.
Then we actually have the investigation proper, which includes the collation of all ship documents and all relevant documents, which has been completed. Interviews of all involved in the incident, which has been completed. Analysis of the interview script and all relevant documents, which has been completed. Reconduct interviews if contradicting statements. This is now currently in process.
In sports later on with Jamie, Triple N Zone lives up to the expectation, but here's Rachel with the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. FNPF moves to new mode of payment. And in Growing Fiji, volunteers build a home for 44-year-old mother. Stay with us.
Moala ranalika, o tikongona taunu singatoka, ando talitaka na bakaronga ng Bull FM, number 2 na serre.
Ya dora subuni kurnambili. Borani bat sekarang hambara binaranga. Total takinal na barongan ng Bull FM. Number 2 en serie. Bula!
Bula FM, number 2 en serie.
In business tonight, the Fiji National Provident Fund will use ANZ's web-based electronic platform for all its payments, reducing the need for checks and ensuring vendors are paid promptly and efficiently. FNPF and ANZ today announced this partnership towards Fiji's goal to replace cash and checks with electronic payments. FNPF Chief Executive Chachi Koroi says they anticipate a vast improvement in their cash management system as a result of this new mode of payment.
Part of our strategy to go digital. Digital meaning using IT more in terms of servicing our stakeholders. In this case, normally we process around 200 checks monthly for payments. This is to our vendors and all the payments that we make in a month. So instead of doing the check payments now, we'll now automatically transfer to their bank account.
And we now join Rocco from HFC with the latest from the financial world.
Thank you. After 3 straight days of losses, the US dollar is showing some strength after speculators took their profits on short currency bets. Meanwhile, US retail sales rose to 0.2% over the previous 0.1%. The New Zealand gross domestic product for December quarter was undermined by imports, particularly of capital goods. Hot, dry weather affected dairy production and exports as agricultural production dropped by 2.7% in the last quarter. The Australian Reserve Bank's assistant governor's speech is due tonight. Now, how does all this affect us and the Fiji dollar? Well, we'll have to find out tomorrow. And that's all from me for now. Vinaka.
Thanks for the update, Rocco. Looking at today's currency exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. Our dollar continues upwards against the Chinese yuan, the US dollar, the PNG kina, and the euro as well. Taking a look at the commodities market, oil prices were slightly up at $61 a barrel. Gold rose as well to close at $1,325 an ounce, and silver was down to close at $16.53 an ounce. And in Growing Fiji tonight, 20 volunteers from Australia, New Zealand, the US and Fiji are currently in the Simbeto village helping build a home for a family. The initiative is part of the Habitat's Young Leaders Build campaign that aims to mobilize 4.5 million youths in the Asia Pacific to volunteer, raise funds and speak out on affordable housing. Philippa Naicoso reports.
It's a dream come true for a 44-year-old mother who will now own a home.
I want to thank Habitat Fiji for accepting my application when I had asked for assistance in building my house last year. I know there were other applications with them, but I'm glad they have picked mine and I'm very happy.
For Tuisa, owning a house was all she wanted, especially for her daughter.
The first day the volunteers came to start working on the house was the day I realized that I will have my own house. I was very happy, excited about this. I also took time out to thank each of them who have done a great job.
The volunteers shared their experiences, saying they're excited to be part of the program.
It's been a wonderful experience working with the village of Simbeto and for Alessi, the homeowner here. She's a wonderful woman and we are so excited to be able to provide her this experience.
Everything has just been really enjoyable. The whole idea of building a project, you're seeing something materialize with your bare hands, seeing teamwork across cultures, not just necessarily from America, Australia, New Zealand, but also from Fiji as well. It's been really wonderful and an experience that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life.
The house will be officially handed over to Tuisa tomorrow. Philippa Naicoso, FBC News.
And that's business this evening. Here's Jamie with sports.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening. In sports tonight, Rockwood ready to lead the Pearls, and swimmers set for Commonwealth Games. This and more coming up.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफ्रिकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन टोटो हुआ कि मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट।
Since taking over as captain of the Fiji Airways men's sevens team, Jerry Tuwai has been regarded as one of the humblest and most respected captains on the World Rugby 7 series. With already so much on his shoulders, Tuwai also plays the leading role of superhero at home. Joining us live tonight with Vasnil Prasad is Newtown's favourite son.
Yes, Jamie, here with me is Fiji Sevens captain Jerry Tuwai, probably who has proven all odds wrong and is leading the Fiji Sevens team in right direction. First question to Jerry Tuwai is, Captain, when you were given this huge responsibility of leading the side, who motivated you, and were you confident enough to reach what level you are today here after winning Hamilton and Vancouver?
Yeah, I was honored to be given the captaincy. First of all, when coach told me that I will be the captain of the team, I was a bit nervous, and I'm thankful enough that I have my father and my mother to motivate me, and my wife. They told me that that's a great honor for me, so yeah, I stick with their advice, and from there till now.
Sevens is a game that everyone watches here in Fiji, and probably now winning Hamilton and Vancouver has some way put a relief on you in terms of leading the team to the Hong Kong and Commonwealth, which is the most expected and most wanted tournament by the Fijian fans here in Fiji.
As I always said, we have a lot of new boys in the squad, and we are really happy that we come out on top in Vancouver and Hamilton. We know that coach doing something right, and I think the bond and everything that we've been doing in training is coming out, and yeah, and it has been a really good run for us.
It's been a relief for you too, as winning 2 tournaments.
Yeah, it is a relief for me, relief for the coaches, relief for management, and relief for the boys. Yeah, I'm happy enough for the boys for their performance in the last tournament.
Just an update on your ankle injury which you sustained in Vancouver?
Right now I'm still waiting for our doctor, William Kung, for the report. But I'm okay. I'm okay for now, for next week, for the camp next week, and trying to go to Hong Kong and the Commonwealth.
There you go, Jamie. So probably Jerry Tuwai will go through some final checkups before he marches into camp next week in preparation for the Hong Kong and Commonwealth Games. Jamie.
Thanks, Vasnil. The Fiji Rugby Union promises its awards night this year will be bigger and better than the last. Chief Executive John O'Connor says nominations from all provincial clubs have been submitted. There will be 16 awards up for grabs at the Sheraton Fiji Resort on Denarau tomorrow.
A big change from last year. You know that we had a dinner on 11th August. We set a standard there, and now we want to lift up the benchmark in terms of our awards night there. And hopefully, because we are combining 2 events.
Coca-Cola Games blue ribbon prospect Makareta Naulu of Andi Thakambau School was not part of today's Triple End Zone meet at Suba ZNZ Stadium due to national duties. The ACS senior who won the Best Female Athlete of the Year at last year's Games is scheduled, though, to represent her school at the Fiji Finals next month. Melita Vanga reports.
Andi Thakambau School Spring Queen Makareta Naulu is in Australia for training and will return a week before the Coke Games.
She will return a week before the Coca-Cola Games, and we will see how it will go for her to come and participate.
Meanwhile, coach Etonia Ramboiliku says the school entered today's Triple N meet as the underdog and has targets to achieve.
We put a few targets because defending the cup is not easy, and we know that there are a few schools that have stepped up to their preparation, so it's important for us that we do things right at this stage.
Senior boys blue ribbon winner Eroni Wasanimbola of Lilin Memorial says he came to the zone meet with high expectation.
Well, ever since I left home this morning, I've always set a target in my mind that no matter what, I have to give it my best and try and win the blue ribbon for my school today. I've been telling my coaches I'm going to push myself to my limits, exceed my limits if I have to, but I will be contesting for the blue ribbon event come this year, Cokes.
The next aim for the schools competing today is the Coca-Cola Games next month. Melita Vanga, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, ACS has been crowned the champions in the girls division, bagging 40 gold medals, while Lilin Memorial has defended the boys division title with 21 gold. The 42nd Fiji Betamaris Sevens Committee has announced its 16 seeded teams which will compete in the 2-day tournament next week. The list sees defending champion Tambandamu and Coral Coast champion Police White. This year's Ramsar Minasinu Sevens winner Wardens will also contest the Mara Sevens title. Meanwhile, Pacific Energy declared its continued sponsorship of the tournament to the sum of $10,000 in cash and fuel vouchers.
This is an increase from previous years where we sponsored around 7,500. Supporting the competition, particularly at grassroots levels.
On behalf of the Maris Rugby Club, we want to extend our sincere appreciation and gratitude to Pacific Energy. We've known your level of support has grown from strength to strength over the years. It's indicative of your footprint that you have in the Pacific.
Netball Fiji's 45-cap veteran Luciani Rokoura is excited about the opportunity to captain the Pearls at the Commonwealth Games in Australia. Rokoura is the only player on the team who has played alongside Fiji netball legends Vilimaina Ndavu, Mere Rambuka and Matila Wanganinrola. Vasnil Prasad has more.
Making a comeback with a huge responsibility after 4 years, Luciani Rokoura's journey was a tough one after pulling out of the World Cup in 2015.
It's been quite a long journey, a very challenging journey, but very competitive, and many ups and downs, but it's been good.
Adapting to a new environment of training has been easy for these girls, just like their captain fitting into her new role.
I've been so blessed to have so many leaders go before me, and in the likes of Matila, Mere Rambuka, and so forth, and just taking on those qualities and adding it on to this new bunch.
The 35-year-old made her debut in 2004. 14 years later, the rugged defender looks as she still got wheels to match up players who were just 5 years of age when she joined the national team.
A very good competitive mix of players, and the team morale is great.
Shooter Nina Virikisuva says she has confidence in her captain.
She's someone that leads with example, and that's something that for us that really differentiate her with us.
It won't be this easy for Rokoura and her girls when they take on the world's best next month. Vasnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
The Fiji Warriors side will not drop their guard when they take on Tonga in the last round of the World Rugby Pacific Challenge at Suva's ANZ Stadium on Saturday. The Warriors are a step closer to retaining the Pacific Cup after beating Samoa A 33-21 and Junior Japan 28-3 in the past 2 weeks. Warriors coach Sinirusi Serubakula says the Tongans, who are winless, will come out firing, but they have prepared for this.
It's good that we stick to our game better. We like to stick to our game better and be patient when we have the ball, and then maintain position at all times.
The government has given $1.7 million to Team Fiji for the Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, Australia next month. Youth and Sports Minister Laisine Tuitumbo says the grant is for preparation and participation at the Games.
From this total, 1,124,000, 60,000 is for team preparation, and $667,487 is for the costs associated with the team participation in the Commonwealth Games.
Meanwhile, Fiji swimmer Peli Rambua looks forward to competing against some of the world's best at the Commonwealth Games. Making his first appearance at the competition, Rambua says representing the country is a dream come true. Luciana Tangidakambao reports.
It won't be a walk in the park for 19-year-old Epeli Rambua, who will take part in the high level of competition for the first time.
It's some really tough competition. As you said, there's going to be some world-class competition that's going to be competing at the Commonwealth Games. So going up against powerhouse countries like England and South Africa. So it's going to be really tough, but I'm hoping that my preparation has done me well.
Rambua says it will be a great experience competing against the best.
I'm just looking forward to the good competition, getting some high-level competition in, and just being able to compete with the best, I guess. That can give me a bit more confidence and a bit more experience.
Fiji's Mateli Tambuandromo, who competed in the Commonwealth Games in 2014, says she is ready for the challenge.
I think for me, going into this, what I've really picked up from being in the last Commonwealth Games is I sort of know what to expect this time round, and from the last time the competition was very tough, so just having that in mind has really helped in terms of preparation.
Meanwhile, Fiji swimmers took a different approach while training as they wrap up preparations for the Commonwealth Games. The team leaves for Gold Coast tomorrow. Luciana Tangidakimbao, FBC Sports.
The Global Interhash 2018 Red Dress Charity Run, which will take place in Nandi, has received a major boost. Paradise Beverages providing $25,000 in sponsorship for the event, which will take place from the 24th to the 27th of May. Fiji will be hosting the global biennial event for the first time since it began 21 years ago.
There are 4 runs at Interhash. This is the charity run, a red dress run. We all get dressed up. I shall be wearing a red dress, and I'll be running through the streets of Lautoka collecting money for the Nandi Hospital, and it fits perfectly with our company. We're trying to make a big difference to Fiji, positive contribution, and one way we'll do it is by sponsoring the red dress run.
This red dress run is purely for charity, and we are very happy. We are pleased to let the people know that we are looking at well over $35,000 that will go towards Nandi Hospital.
Local runners competing in the Vodafone Lost Island Ultra Marathon received a timely boost from BLK today as they gear up for Fiji's first cross-country marathon. BLK has supported the inaugural event by providing running gear to Fijian athletes. The marathon will run from the shores of Yangara, crossing inland through Vitilevu, with the finish line at the Singatoka Sand Dunes.
In terms of preparation, I'm doing a lot of stuff like hill running, and I've been running some terrains so that I can cater for the 5 days of the ultramarathon.
In today's play of the day, Melbourne Victory's Basat Berisha wasn't happy coming off against Kawasaki in the AFC Champions League. The fuming A-League striker blew a gasket at the coach after getting benched. That's it from Sports Tonight. Join Angie later on with weather. And in the world of the weird and the wonderful, British restaurant serves up world's largest portion of fish and chips. Details after the break.
Bula, kera mai Singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon ko la ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Ayaw ko yazo sila tali, nagurara may naomani, nandunga. Gitu tali taki na ndo Venezuela, nagunto rongo, varorong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.
In new media tonight, the latest Samsung edition will be hitting the Fijian market tomorrow. The cameras on the Galaxy S9 and Galaxy S9 Plus are a major selling point for Samsung. The phone comes with new features like a variable for brighter, clearer low-light shots, as well as a super slow-motion video recording.
So this is the new latest device from Samsung, and the S9 and the S9 Plus comes with new and improved features, which will be offered to the customers once they get a hold of this device.
And it's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. Such a hot Thursday for many of us, the sun is really up to something. But like the trend for a few days now, afternoon showers are on standby to chill us. In the west for today, such a lovely stable day, few sprinkles were around, but it really didn't make much difference. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, sunny, like way too sunny with afternoon showers. And up north, more gorgeous sunny spells were out and about. At sea, southeast winds 15 to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. For the tides, high tide will be at 5:13 a.m. with low tide at 10:58 a.m. Sunrise will be at 6:09. For tomorrow, yay, it's Friday, such a great day, but do prepare yourselves for light showers. Tomorrow's temps, all the centers will be in the lower 30-degree range. And looking further on to Saturday, more light showers will hover over us. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse tonight, we asked, should more sporting facilities be built in rural communities?
More emphasis is given on the urban centers, like more facilities are coming up in the urban centers. What the government can do is like move a little bit more priority to the rural section and to the outer islands too. They do not leave people behind in the outer islands, but we find that some of the good players that we have in the sporting sector is coming out from the outer islands.
Yes, I think there should be more sporting facilities in the rural areas and villages, because most people that come from these areas are really good, but they don't have sporting facilities to further help them.
Yeah, they should have, because the children, they'll have their own everything over there instead of coming to town and cities.
That's a good idea. It will help the rural people to develop the sports.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, Resorts World Birmingham has cooked up a feast after it successfully produced the world's largest serving of fish and chips. Recapping the main stories, thousands affected by intermittent water supply, government to protect Fiji Airways routes, and FBC does not own Walesi, NFP told. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Now to our poll question this week, we are asking, should more police posts be set up around the country to counter criminal activities? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day sent in by Sala Kalod, taken early morning in Cerro Namosi. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
Wrong on the Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon mo sekolah untuk talita na Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Ayaw ko yazo sila tale. Nagurara may nawamanyi. Nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu Venezuela pun nangguntur rongo. Barong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na ponga ni BNN.